Hello, and thank you for tuning into another episode of Occult Out Loud, the podcast. I am here with my near and dear friend, Stein, who is broadcasting live from her office, which is a tent in the yard. And isn't that lovely that I'm broadcasting live from a closet in my home? It's perfect. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, I'm Stein. I am chairperson of the board at Choice Access Team, and I'm a tech nerd getting into, well, I'm a full stack developer, and I'm getting into cybersecurity, cloud security. Oh, I'm also a mother of 2 teen daughters, and I don't know, so many different things I don't really even know where to start, but that's where I am right now.
Yeah, I was like, when I took like a little bit of notes. I have a little bit of notes, so like probably just best to freestyle. But we got some bases here, and I was like, what the fuck do I put on here? She's like a bajillion things. How do you capture a galaxy of a human being in like a sentence? You don't. So I didn't. I let you speak for yourself.
Yeah, it's hard for me to even speak for myself. That's one of the most scary questions I ever get is like, tell me about yourself. I'm like, oh, it's like there's a logjam there because I'm like, which part? Where do I? I just want to like beep some
totally.
noise. Beep 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 beep. And I hope they understand.
I hated all of those like icebreakers, you know, like if you go to a new job or like you're in a new class and you're like, fuck, please don't call my name. Like, what? 2 truths and a lie? They're all lies. I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say? I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so like getting those like online screenings that are like, tell me about your personality on a scale of 1 to 10, how much you like this. I will sit there at the first one. I won't be moving. I used to kind of like lie to myself through those tests too. Like, do you remember the Myers-Briggs test or whatever?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You want yourself to be something you're not, and then you look at it and you're like, no, that's not me.
Yeah, that's not me. I'd be reading the other ones like, actually, that one's probably me.
I'm what regular people will call batshit, but I think I'm just fine. We're just good. We're over here. We talk to dead people and we read cards every day. It's fine. It's cool. I think I have a more juicy life. So
I mean, it has its ups and its downs, right? I mean,
oh my God, yeah. Like, I don't live a boring life, and I know that you don't either. And you know, it could be a little odd sometimes, but I think we both kind of came to the occult on our own, right? Like different phases of it and things like that. Probably most because, just a little preface for people that don't know, we met when we were kids at a roller skating rink, just rolling around a wooden floor, listening to music we shouldn't have been listening to. Oh, and doing things we shouldn't have been doing, probably, but mistakes were not made, because I don't feel like there are mistakes. I feel like they're just giant learning lessons that you can look back now and be like, wow, we have kids. You're not doing that.
Well, they don't do that anymore anyway. Things have changed so much.
What's up? They just communicate telepathically and via video.
I'm doing it now.
Popsicle.
Nope.
Dang it. Gotta practice some more. Can you tell me about like what it was like for you in your childhood and where you first kind of came to your experience with the occult, like your first experience? I'm imagining we just kind of alluded to like it was around childhood, but like when did you really like have your experience that you were like, was it young?
Yeah,
older?
We're young. Okay, so
I mean, we grew up in the realm of like everybody kind of played like witchy stuff. Like we all like made stews and prick, you know, like put little pins through our fingers. Like, look at, I have the safety pin in here. Like, I don't know why universally we all did these things, but we really truly did.
Yeah, it's kind of like just something we all end up doing, I feel like, or those of us who will. We almost have the same stories about all those things that we did. And maybe it starts with the mud pie. I don't know, but there was like this like yard thing in my neighbor's yard that me and my friend growing up would be like really scared of, and we deduced that there was a spirit buried and living in there.
What was it? Was it like a something of decor, like
Yeah.
a garden or something, or like what is it? Just like
If I look back now, I think it was like probably a fire pit or some sort of pizza oven.
oh, okay, kind of like some Kevin McAllister stuff where he looks at the furnace and he's like, no, it's gonna
Yeah.
eat me. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's
So
fair.
my friend ended up, I think, either like making this ghost her boyfriend. And
Oh, wow, that's early. Did you guys know its name?
no, but she called it Mr. Ghosty.
Oh,
Yeah. But
okay.
that all that aside, like I think that's the earliest that I really started like pretending to see ghosts, but I always knew that there were ghosts because I grew up, my grandma on my dad's side of the house lives in a house that's haunted. So I did happen to have that experience growing up of um being in a haunted house and seeing weird things happen.
Really? What was that like? Like, what
Um
did you see?
I personally never really saw anything, but the stories from like the elders in the family and some of the younger people in the family are chilling. The worst that I experienced, which I'd say like worst, I was always fascinated. I wasn't really like afraid really, but so the ghost, and I still dream about this, would come up from there was a dungeon in her basement, and it would come up from the dungeon and go through the
A
house.
dungeon, like a wine cellar, or like a sub basement type of thing?
Yeah, it was like a concrete subsection of the basement, um, a little lower.
Try to envision it. Yeah. So like, I guess like cellar ish
Probably. I could
into
see that. It's kind of like an old farm type house.
yeah
So it's probably for, preserving something, you're right. Or, storing.
bodies. Apparently, who knows? All right, keep going. I'm
Oh,
intrigued.
so okay, right, let's go.
On the right, let's do this.
uh I'll tell you what I saw first, and then I'll tell you what other people said they saw. So this ghost comes up the stairs, and you can hear it coming up the stairs, and then it will leave like the doors open that it opens, and it always takes the same route. So it comes from the stairs, it goes through the living room and out through the porch door. There's like this enclosed porch, so there's like a door that goes out to that, and we'll leave that door open. So you'll wake up in the house, and like that door will be wide open, or you'll wake up and you'll hear it walking. But nobody ever sees the door open. It's like it's the craziest thing because it's coming, but you can't be looking. So
Interesting. That's really interesting. So it's like energetically, you can feel something is about to happen, but you're like your human eye can't see it.
yeah,
Is
maybe
that
it's like that double slit experiment type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. And so that's the type of stuff where I'm like, is it your imagination or is it ghosts?
because it's hard to actually find a true account of seeing something.
Right.
But so that's what I had experienced, that I heard it coming and I didn't look, and when I opened my eyes, the door was open. And then other stories are that like, and these are people in my family that don't talk about things casually. They're not like people that just say things and you're like, oh, okay, that's whatever. Like
Yeah.
they say crazy
Yeah.
stuff. Like, they don't talk like that, but the way they talk about this is like, okay, I fucking believe you. Because okay, so the thing evidently talks backwards, and at night, like they'll shut the light off and then you'll hear it moving things around and whispering to itself like backwards.
Out loud? Like out loud?
Out
Not
loud.
just like in your mind's eye or whatever. Like out loud.
I wasn't there, so I can't say, but no, that like as it's
I've had accounts personally, I've had accounts of spirit speaking out loud where people can hear it, like beyond mediumship stuff for me, where people are like, you are crazy, bitch. I'm like, do you want to know what color your grandma's curtains were when you were a kid? No. Do you want to cry? I didn't think so. I am not Caputo. I'm not going to tell you unless you ask. But don't deny someone's experience, like
right.
you never know. You never know. And
Yeah,
it's so
and
weird,
because, like,
especially
your
like,
mind can transcend. It's like people's experiences are going to be different. You can see the same, two people can see the same thing and see something completely different. So
right. And of course, I'm going to put this disclaimer in there. This is not to say like some people do have mental health issues and things of that nature. Maybe, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying in a spiritual perspective that from my personal experiences, from what I've experienced and from what other people have experienced and conversations that I've had, It's not just like a bunch of hens sitting in a house talking about, and then the rumor gets passed on. This is like a lot of people have talked about things like this. People are making platforms and millions of dollars off of what seem to be faux scenarios, off of the paranormal and things like that. So why can't regular people like us experience it? Huh?
Eh?
So,
and that's not necessarily the occult that I brought up, but it does lead into how I started getting into it. Like,
oh no, all of it is like all of that stuff is all related. Like any of the like mysterious stuff within the occult, being like the bubble of what holds it all, be it not paranormality or spiritual things, even basic as meditation, is all within that realm. It's just very vast realm.
Right. It's a wide one.
Yeah. You were saying.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I was talking about things that happened there. Okay, so this story is told at that house, and this is the last one I'm going to tell because it's just why keep going.
Yeah, story time. It's cool. I'm here for it. I'm sure that people listening are here for it. Why would you not want to hear this?
Yeah. This one's a good one. It's really creepy. I hope he's telling the truth, right? And I can't see why he's not. This is my adopted dad, and he is a no bullshit kind of guy. He does not sit around bullshitting. I've known him a long time, and he tells this story where he sat at the table and he put like a gallon of milk and his cereal box and a bowl of cereal in front of him, and he's sitting there eating cereal, and he notices the top of the milk gallon is spinning off. Like, it's like turning. He's like, dang, there's a lot of pressure in that, I guess. Like, what?
Wait.
And
wait. What year is this? Because if this like post Ghostbusters, because if something started spinning and I had seen Ghostbusters, I'd be like, mind the eggs, Norma, because the next thing come.
I don't know. I think he was like a kid, you know what I mean? He was in his teens or something.
I see. Okay.
So probably like in the 70s.
That's even scarier.
I know.
Oh my God. Where they had they just started to get into the age of Aquarius. No one really. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
So the thing's spinning off, and then he said when it had nowhere else to spin, it started doing this, like on top of the, like, so he's like, that's really weird. And then his spoon spun in his bowl and touched him on the arm, and it like he said it like gave him like a cold, like electrocuting, like it was like this crazy zap of an experience for him. And like that's what he tells me made him a believer, because he had heard other stories like my grandma's clothes being taken out of her closet after she put it in, and like all these crazy things going on in the house. He's like, yeah, whatever. And then that happened to him, and he was like, okay, we're done, but they my grandma invited the spirit to stay, and evidently that chilled it out. And then they didn't hear from it for years and years and years, but they recently cut a new closet into the house, and then they heard back.
Yeah. When you do renovations, it's said, we're just going to say it's been known to be said that when you renovate in a house and things like that, if there are leftover energies, even like, we'll even like add on that, like if you have an argument and you leave that argument behind, it's like an imprintation and that's still there too. But just like all that energy gets drawn back up and then you have to face it. It's like, excuse me, like if we allude to something as silly as Beetlejuice and they're like, he's like, why are you here? Can you get out of here? Get out of here. No, then let me marry your daughter then. Get out. I probably would be upset too as like a, if I was a stuck spirit or something and someone was messing, I'd be like, man, it was 1973 over here. What is this 2024 bullshit? What's going on? I don't want to be over here.
Yeah, right.
You just popped me into this realm. Again, there's no factual evidence for me to say like know how that works, but I'd be like, that's not cool. I mean, my great grandmother passed away and we spent the night at my grandma's house, and my older cousin was like, I saw her. She was sitting on the couch, and like we turn around and her clothes are sitting there on the couch. And I'm like, this bitch went to her closet and got an outfit and put that up there and try to scare me right now. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I was like, no. And this is at the time that my grandmas are telling me like, we're witches. And I'm like, wait, what? Like I've been shipped off on a church bus to a Baptist church twice a week, and I could have been over here doing spells with my grandmothers naked in the woods. What in the? I don't believe any of this stuff. You know what I mean? I was so confused.
Mhm.
My cousin is like in tears, and I hope that she listens to this. Rhonda, I love you. I really hope you listen to this because I was not believing her. I was just a little kid, like, no, that did not happen. There's no way. She is crying, like, I swear to you, it was. I saw her, and that was the outfit she was wearing. And I'm like, now I'm like, oh my god, we
Yeah.
were like, we're little. That's like,
But we
wow,
used to mess with each other like that when we were kids too. Even in that house, all my cousins and I would be lying to each other. Oh, I saw the ghost. Saw a guy
yeah,
in the
yeah,
dark. And like, no, I didn't.
yeah. I wonder why. Well, do you? Okay, so that's a cool segue to go into. Is like, even as kids we kind of know to like fabricate a little to like,
Yeah.
okay, well, if I can't see it, then I'm going to say that I can so that I'm not left out, or like I don't want to be scared, I don't want to see that thing, so I'm just going to lie and pretend like I did. It's like going through a haunted house with your eyes closed and all of your other friends are like ahead of you and you're just like, it's cool, I went through, we're good, I went through. And they're like, did you fucking see anything or just your shoes because you weren't even looking? Like, I don't want to look. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in looking. I hear everyone else
Some
screaming.
hot houses.
I don't care. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. I think I heard you when you said that maybe it's like a way of not having to see it. Because if you're like, yeah, I saw it, then the responsibility
Yeah,
of going looking for it is over because you've already seen it.
right.
So don't
We
bother me.
used,
Don't bother me. I've already seen it.
yeah, we used to pretend to have seances.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
don't
Well,
play with my head unless you know what you're doing. And if you know what you're doing, then please come on the podcast because we need to talk. But listen, it's a little too young. That's why I tell my son, like, look, no, we're not getting a Ouija board. You're not bringing that into my house. I don't want to do that in your space. Fine, but I pay rent here, and the people coming through the other side ain't gonna be paying rent. So
yeah, right.
do it in your own time. You want? There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? But I'm
I'll
good.
be real though, like this shit serves a purpose. I think the imagination, I think there's a bit of truth that like the truth is somewhere between like dreaming and then like physical, right? So the more you're able to tap into like your imagination, know the difference.
Yeah,
Probably the more
very good.
fight some real experiences, right? And I think
Yeah,
what happened to me in getting into like more of the more practicey type things that I got into because all that stuff made me want to have a connection, I think. And I already did, you know. I think as a kid I was having like precognitive dreams. I had a traumatic childhood and I think that might have pushed me to flip or something. I don't know. But I could always hear and see things. And I really pushed that away. It scared me for a while, but then I tried to invite
it
it back.
started when you were a child, like before. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's kind of common. Is as uncommon as something that's common, right? That's kind of common. There's like, especially someone who has of high intellect like yourself and who's into like, I've always personally known you to be someone who is like, you know what? I'm not going to judge it. I'm before I put judgment on it, I'm judging it a little bit, but I'm also going to like go over here and go through it so I can check it out. Like I remember you going to the Satanic Temple. Excuse me. Good Lord. The Satanic Temple and stuff too. And just like exploring things and being like, I want to know before I place judgments on anything. And I think that's a big part of spirituality, regardless if it's like a Ouija board or occultism or even just praying to a God, higher power, angels, inviting in any of that stuff. What you invite in is what you're going to draw, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think essentially that's kind of what I'm saying too, right? And that encapsulates it really well. And uh yeah, one of
Yeah.
the other really crazy things.
Face and ear. That must have been a throat chakra clearing for me. Lord.
Hello. What do you know about astral projection? Because that is really the first thing. That's what cues me into knowing about myself. And
I
because I was an
did see
astral
that for a
projector
while
as a baby. Yeah.
as a baby.
Very little. I know I was so little. And I have really vivid, crystal clear memories of my experience with that.
Well, they say when you're young like that, you're way closer to the other side. Like I think it's until you're about 6 or 7 that you're close to what they call the veil, right?
Am I
And so and sometimes kids will be like, That's why kids that have never met like some of their grandparents and things like that, they'll be like, no, Grandpa Jude, he's right here. He wore blue breeches, and they'll be like, why are you saying breeches and like old words like that? You know, like what? And you'd be like, because it's what he told me. He comes to my bedroom every morning, and you're like, what?
Yeah, or kids
It's like,
that all of a sudden like know
well,
different languages,
yeah,
like words from different
yeah.
languages that are like, what are you talking about, kid? Where'd you learn
Or
that?
even astral projection and you know, signs of ETs. And like now we're looking at like we got pure governmental and news release. They're saying, yes, this is real and all of these things. So if you're always closer to the other side and come up with it first, right? They pick up a crystal. This is Jeffrey, the amethyst. What? What?
Yeah,
Okay.
that looseness
Jeffrey,
and being grounded
home.
and being imaginative.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yes.
that's why they're able to cross over like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I don't mean crazy, but you know,
Yeah. No, I often use that word wrongly, but I also am in the space of like, I try very much so to not let words too much be, I try not to hold on to them too much. I swear a lot. And like for being a spiritual person, people are like, but you say like so many swear words. I'm like, yeah. And if you want to let them have power, then let them have power, right? That's why I use them. I'm like, that's fucking great. You know, like it naturally as it comes out. Also worked in a bar for 20 years of my life and was raised by bikers. And I don't have any other way to communicate, to be fair.
I know.
Whatever I came from that is not here, they swear a lot. And they say people with high intellect swear a lot. So guess I'm damn smart, huh?
Mm-hmm. I heard the same thing. I hope it's true.
Who knows? That's another thing is like, who knows? That's kind of the basis of why I'm doing this show, is because people always ask me all these questions like I know everything. I just know my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know.
I know.
And whatever resonates with me.
Yes. And I think like a part of spirituality is that. Like, and I've never really been a fan of like organized religion and things like that. I have a bit of a bias we could talk about on the next episode. But I think we really lose ourselves when we follow other people
because yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
When they start following other people or doctrines for like the way, not only is it void of their path and their way in many ways, but it eliminates the humanness, and it also opens them up to predators, and there's a lot of predatory behavior in there that remains unchecked. But spirituality should be about community and your place in that community. And if you happen to share certain aspects with people in your community, that's great. But when you start calling it a thing and making it a club and all that, I think it starts really eliminating some of your responsibility in it. Even, I don't know, like even
I agree with you. I agree with you. I was just something profound. I think I've sent you some of her stuff. I don't know if you follow her or not, but Chani Nicholas, she's an astrologer and she's really matter of fact. Like I like her in that way, that we're matter of fact practitioners. It's like, yeah, we can talk about some spiritual stuff and do all the things, but in the beginning and the end of the day, I want everybody to eat.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we all need to be equal. That doesn't mean we all have to have the same thoughts. That means I want us all to have a little piece of the pie so we can learn and grow together. That is the fucking point, people. It's the point here. I like being around my people that are like my people. You know, I love that, of course. But at the beginning and the end of the day, does that make me grow? No. I need to be around people that are not like me, that I help me expand, right?
I agree.
That I can help, that can help me. And like we move on and we do that. And that's what we do on the planet. So like, I think there's a place for everything. You know, the trauma, you and I both got a little religious trauma. We should definitely put a pin in that and talk about it on another episode. The breakdown of the Baptist church and being raised by a Jehovah's Witness. Tune in. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm losing my ADHD, I'm losing my point of what I was trying to say. But the point of this podcast is to have these conversations and to talk about things, to expand the mind, to open up the heart and try to figure out how to navigate everything in between, you know, like drinking water and Red Bull. Yep. I know that it's not even Red Bull, it's Monster. Sorry. It's sleeping again for me today
Part of
because I'm
that
trying to.
sponsorship.
Hey, they could come through. Spirituality sponsored by Monster.
You know, it's not too hard
Oh,
getting
love
sponsored by Red Bull around here.
You know what? I'm not gonna. The RB, when bartending for 20 years, a little hot goss. Also, here's a little fun tidbit that's a little spiritual. The word gossip comes from the word godsip, which is actually, the way that people are supposed to be talking to each other. Trusted parents, which godparent came from, was to be someone they could just go and talk to and just have a little chit chat anytime, right? And then, of course, we won't say what sexuality or types of people these were right now, but they decided that they didn't like that. Chit chat and gossip was created to keep us safe, fuckers. Keep talking to each other.
Yeah. It only became a slur or like a negative. It only got a negative connotation because of all the trouble it got the people who deserve to be talked shit about in. And they had like more power or whatever. So you're not allowed to talk to each other about us. That's gossip. That's
like nobody's better than anybody else. So what? I'm drinking a Monster today. Who cares? I'm sucking it down with water. I know it's in plastic. I'm trying to do my part. My pipes are old. What do you want me to do?
I love it when you pop off. She sends me videos, or we send each other Instagram videos all the time of us just like going off about whatnot, funny faces, just not even cute. Not even cute half the
You
time.
have to laugh though, because if not, you're gonna stress out so bad. That's why I really just try to pay attention to the outside world too. Like I had this thought in my mind, just like one of those inner thoughts where your brain talks to you, right? And you're like, pick that up. It could be a penny on the ground or something, right? But it was like, get 2 waters out of the trunk. And I'm like, why? And then I turn and I look, and these guys had been like cutting this tree down, and they had been doing it all day long. And I looked, and I was like, oh my God, that truck hasn't moved all day. I wonder if they've had any water. So I walked over there and I took him the 2 bottles of water. This guy almost started crying, hands to his heart. He's like, I love you, sister. Thank you so much. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Have you not had anything to drink all day? And he's like, no, we've been out here busting up this tree. And I'm like, holy smokes. Like something moved me to bring you the water,
Yeah.
It's just like pay attention to the little things, around as well. Maybe a little less to the bigger things around, like, don't wake up in the morning and turn on mass media and like let it rob you of your joy, because you have all this space when you first wake up. It's this huge expansive space you have to like set the intention every day, and instead you let it get sucked dry of you by all this outside influence. I don't do that anymore. If my husband wants to watch something on the news, which he likes it, he enjoys the news a little bit, I'm not here for it. I want to watch the cute weather girl and then turn it off. I'm done. I don't want it anymore. I've had enough, because it's just negative. When I could lay in my bed for 15 more minutes and drink my cup of coffee up there and whisper things into my coffee. Like I've been pumping through the IG lately. Like, what do you whisper into your liquids in the morning? Rich bitch juice, happiness, success, peaceful day. I'd rather do that and make myself laugh and drop some neuron chemicals in my brain than have someone be like, and another politician yelling at a politician about the same stuff to keep you distracted.
I don't listen
to politics.
I have been listening to more global affairs. I have been paying very keen attention to what I like to consider Stein news, the kind that
and that's different too. And that's different too. Like I will search for news, right? I'll check in on stuff, and I like to keep my expanded. I don't want what you're feeding me.
No,
I don't want.
Every time I turn on like the American TV or whatever, I'm insulted. I'm insulted when I see like those commercials about, oh, you think that so-and-so is going to do this? Well, guess what? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this too. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And it's so cheesy. I'm insulted. I'm like,
remember during that time in 2020 when there was that funny guy, but he was actually really serious, and he's like, open the goddamn Applebee's, and like he really was actually, people just like made this funny thing about it, and it's like that's how those commercials feel to me. I'm just like, open the Jessica, you know, like, I'm like, whoa, Jesus, I'm over here I'm still paying my taxes and trying to afford to feed myself. Why are you yelling at each other? Can you stop? Be good. Appreciate it.
You know,
Central hair for everyone. Like, give me something, a platform that really, does Flint have clean water yet? Like, come on. I mean,
I don't think they do. So there's that. I know that didn't they get away with that lawsuit too? Like there was that lawsuit for putting the citizens of Flint through that, and the guy got off, didn't he?
Do you feel different talking about this than talking about the spiritual stuff?
I do.
Energetically? I just noticed a shift. I was like, okay, you see that it's not that it's not necessary. I'm not saying that it's not necessary, because we're here, we are in the now. This is necessary stuff sometimes, right? You can't just live in woo-woo forever, but notice the difference.
But
and
we got sometimes, you know?
Figure out how to move through it. You know, you got to talk, because here's another thing. You know, I know a lot of people don't like one or the other, but I sit in space and I meditate and I pray for both, because if they both get better and both of their thinking gets better, then their behaviors change and things like that. I'm not going to walk around throwing shit all over the walls and expect it to be sanitary conditions here. Not doing that. I'm going to go, you know what? Okay. Powers that be. Or you talk about all the yogis standing together. We're all meditating all night today, 2:22. If you'd like to join us. So, yes, I would like to join you, but I work a regular job. So I'm going to do that later. I'm going to say prayer for everybody up in here on planet Earth to just heal.
Please.
Be a little kinder, be a little more present. Just, it's a case of the DTMs, you know, the doing too much.
Head to your backyard, fill it with pillows and blankets and sit in it. I swear. Just do it.
Hang out with your friend in a closet.
Hang out with your friend in a closet. Pitch a tent in the yard. Just get out. Get out.
Yeah. I love you, Boston people. Your accent's incredible. That wasn't a hit.
No, not at all.
Please don't throw any more tea in the harbor. I'm kidding. Don't come for us, Detroit girls, okay? With that being said, I won't keep any more of your time, but I would love, and I hope that other people would love, to dive into some more topics with you and maybe talk about some spiritual drama next time. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I didn't really jump into heavy spiritual talks this time with you.
No, please.
I have sections.
This is so fun.
Yeah, I had so much fun. And I would love to come back and talk about some things like astral projection more specifically too, or like things more specifically. So I'd love to come back and talk again. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, my love. Do you want to, if you like this podcast, of course, like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends. But do you have any like socials or anything that you want, you know, creative projects you're working on? Would you like to share that so people could find you, or are you still tipping at the nips?
I'm always tipping at the nips, but I will. I don't know. Yes. So Choice Access Team is a reproductive healthcare clinic escorting team, and you can find us at choiceaccessteam.org or Choice Access Team on TikTok or Instagram. And then if you want to see my crazy little dev project, you can go to Stein.RIP and you can see that. That's the case. Poodle.
Or STEIN.RIP.
Yes, that's it. STEIN.RIP.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate your time. And as always, I love you so much.
So much. Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.